Hey guys, Yana here, and in this video, I want to do something a little bit different from what I normally do. Now, you guys know that I do, love readings, career readings. Um, I'm an empath, I'm a healer, but I'm also a rape survivor. Okay? Um, this is something that was hard to talk about for me years ago. It's not really as hard anymore. And I believe that's because time has passed. To me, time is the best healer. So my whole purpose of creating this video is about 3 years ago. I don't know, one day I just had a feeling, and it was like, grab your phone and record what happened to you. So I did. I shared it on my other channel. And my other channel is not really related to the topics that I have on this channel. But I feel like this topic it more belongs on this channel because I do a lot of love readings, and a lot of the people I talk to, they're really hurting, and they're getting in bad relationships or dealing with certain things because of things that they went through in their past. And a lot of them are people who have experienced sexual abuse, and we really don't understand, but things that happen to us when we're younger really does shape the person that we end up being when we get older. It also has a lot to do with the kind of people that we attract, and the people that we decide to give ourselves to. So my whole point of sharing this video is that I know a lot of you are mothers, a lot of you are fathers, a lot of you are aunts and uncles, a lot of you have young children around you. And it is very important that you have these kind of conversations with them, share this video with them and then have that conversation. It will really help you to prevent this happening to them. We really have to get these rape stats down. Like 1 out of 5 women will be raped in a lifetime and in her life. That's crazy. Think of it like this. Go in a room with 4 other women if you're a woman. Right? So it's 5 of you in one room. Right? One of you in that room has either been raped or you will be raped. That's fucking crazy. So you think about it. There is at least 5 women in your family who have been sexually abused. Okay? There's probably at least 20 women at your job that have been sexually abused. You walk past rape survivors every day. That's fucking sad. That's the world we live in. So, once again, I'm sharing this video. I created it about 3-4 years ago. So I am going to look a little different. I definitely went through my glow up. So yeah, I'm going to look a little different. But it doesn't matter what I look like. Just listen to what happened. Right? That's all that matters. And just have those conversations with these little girls and these little boys. And just school them. And for those of you who are interested in love and career readings or financial readings, the information to book a private reading is in the description of this video, and readings start as low as $7. Okay, I have to point that out because if you're a subscriber of mine, you already know that that's what I do, and if you're a subscriber of mine, that's probably what made you subscribe to me. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna let you guys watch the video. And once again, please, 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 any kids that's around you, just have this conversation with them. All right, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna get into the video. Okay, so I've been debating back and forth about doing this video for like the last couple of months, like, because this is really a hard video to do. But, you know, I said to myself, if I'm trying to help people, then I have to be willing to share certain things that I went through, because I know through my experiences, I can help somebody else. Because I know there's definitely a girl out there going through something like I went through, you know what I mean? And maybe they'll watch this video and they'll get the courage to actually do something. Or, you know, maybe I can motivate a mother to actually go to her child and be like, listen, you need to watch this video because I don't want this to happen to you. So let me get into it. So when I was about like 6 or 7 years old, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and I will say my aunt, and I'll call her my Aunt D. So I spent a lot of time with them, and I would go back and forth. So whenever I used to be at my Aunt D's house or whatever, she lived in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn, New York. And she had a son, and he, I think at the time, lived in Canada. I'm not really sure if he lived in Canada for like 100% sure, because I was a little girl. But I think he lived in Canada. So he would come and he would spend like, you know, weeks with us. He would sometimes spend the whole summer. You know, he saw his mom, my aunt, often. So anyways, I don't remember every single sexual encounter. Thank God I don't remember every single one. I just remember certain ones. I just remember that it happened a lot. And when I say a lot, meaning like if he was there for a week, I was probably being forced to have sex with him at least 4 or 5 times out of that week. Some days it would be, you know, 2 times a day. Some days it would be like 3 times a day. Some days it would be none at all. But I'm going to talk about this one particular instance because, you know, when you're a child, you don't understand something, and then as you get older, you start putting 2 and 2 together, and then everything starts to make sense to you. And sometimes, like, you explain something to someone, and then they kind of are able to make you understand what actually happened to you. So my aunt, she lived in like a railroad apartment, and she had a master bedroom, and then she had another bedroom. So you had her bedroom, and then to get into the next bedroom, you had to go through her bedroom to get to it. It's like really confusing to explain. But just think about like a regular house, you know, to get into a room, you have to open the door. With hers, it's like you walk into her room, and then the room is in the same section of her room, but there was a door. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, so when I was being raped, it was being done in that room next to hers, right? And I remember my mother, not my mother, my aunt's boyfriend, who is the father of her daughter, would always make these comments, and he would always say, you know, 2, you know, kids, especially a girl child and a boy child, they shouldn't be in the same room together. You know, they shouldn't be sleeping in the same room. It's just not appropriate. And my aunt just kind of brushed it off like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care what you have to say. So I'm going to talk about this one instance. So I remember I was sleeping, and, you know, my cousin basically climbed on top of me. You know, he shoved his penis in me. And every time, I remember when he would shove his penis in me, I should just lay there. I just lay there like a corpse. I didn't move. Just lay there. Just let him do what he was doing to me. I could literally feel like every inch of his penis inside me, and I just lay there and didn't do anything. And I remember it used to burn so bad. And I sometimes, like, I would just cry, but I cry lightly because I'm just like, didn't want nobody to hear me. So, you know, when he was done or whatever, I remember I felt like I had to pee. So, you know, I jumped off the bed, and then I tippy-toed because my aunt and and not her husband, but her boyfriend was sleeping, and I didn't want her to wake up. So I tippy-toed to the bathroom, and I closed the door behind me. And I don't think her bathroom door had a lock. I really don't remember if it did or not, but obviously I wasn't able to lock it for whatever reason. So I got on the toilet, and I started to pee. And I remember it burned so bad.
that I had to like pee and then stop, pee and then stop. And then I remember I looked down and I saw nothing but blood just running down my legs. And I was just like in excruciating pain because it burned so bad. Me as a little girl, I didn't really understand, like, I'm like, okay, obviously I'm burning because, he's having sex with me. But now that I'm older, it's because I was a child. And as an adult, when, as an adult woman, when you want to have sex or whatever, and you're aroused, you produce, you get wet. But I was a child, so I wasn't wet. So that's probably why it was burning and stuff like that. So, I finished peeing, I wiped myself, and I noticed as I was wiping myself, like, I was seeing a lot of blood, and, like, the tissue wasn't really doing much. So I grabbed my rag, and I put it in the sink, and I wet it, and then I started to clean myself. At this time, I walked towards the toilet, and, like, I turned around, so my back was towards the door. So I'm cleaning myself, trying to get the blood, gone or whatever. And then I remember hearing like footsteps, and I remember I could hear the door opening, and I jumped because I was like, "Oh my god! Like I don't know who that is. I hope it's not my aunt. I hope she doesn't find out." Because you have to understand, at 6 or 7 years old, I was like an extreme puss. Like I was afraid of everything. Like I was so shy, so timid. I was afraid that if I did anything wrong, I would get a beating, and my cousin knew that. So my cousin used to always tell me, if you tell anyone, we're gonna get beaten, and if you tell anyone, they're not gonna believe you. So I'm programmed to thinking like, okay, this is what's gonna happen to me. So that's why I didn't tell anyone. So that's why when I heard the door opening, I was like scared, like, oh my god, what am I gonna say? I don't even know what to tell her. So she opens the door, and she could see like the blood on the rag. She could see me like wipe myself, whatever. So she's asking me, "What happened? Anybody's touching you? What happened? Anyone's touching you?" And I'm like, "No, no one touched me." So I remember she walked to the toilet. She put down the lid. She sat down. She told me to come here. So I came to her. She said, "Sit on my lap." So I sat on her lap, and then she made me lay like on my back across her legs. And then she started examining my vagina. She was looking at it. She was like, "You sure nobody touched you?" And I said, "No." She said, "Are you sure no one touched you?" And I said, "No one touched me." She said, "Why are you bleeding?" I said, "I don't know." And then she just said, "Okay." So then she took the rag that I was already using. I remember she threw it away. She made me get into the tub. She gave me a new rag. Then she was like, wash yourself or whatever. Then I remember she went somewhere, and she came back with like a new pair of panties and like a new nightgown. I think it was like a pair. It was like a pair of panties that my mom had bought like a pack from like a while ago, whatever. She was like, "Change your clothes, you know, wash yourself, whatever. Put these panties on." And then she went and lay down. I, cleaned myself, put my lotion on, whatever. Put the shirt. I think it was like a long nightgown shirt she gave me. And then I ran back in the room with my cousin. And I remember my cousin asking me, "Oh, what happened? What happened?" So I told him. He was like, "You didn't tell her, right?" I said, "No, I didn't say anything." He was like, "Okay." And that was it. That was the end of that. I continued to get raped by him for the next probably 4 or 5 years. And then eventually it stopped because my mom, she wasn't that close to my aunt anymore. And my mom was, she was in school when all of that was going on at that time. So once she was done with school, then I was able to spend more time with her. So I didn't really need to be at my aunt or my grandmother's house anymore. So that stopped. so eventually, that stopped. But in the midst of me being raped by my cousin, my mother's first husband also attempted to rape me. And it's kind of funny because the instances that I remember, I think maybe the reason why I remember them because they were so similar that I'm just like, this is like crazy to me. So, in the middle of my cousin trying to rape me and stuff like that, my mom got married to her first husband, and I absolutely hated him. He was a dickhead. He was so strict for no reason. He used to like not let me watch TV during the weekdays. I had good grades. It wasn't like I had bad grades at that time. Um, like he was like mean to me and my brother. He used to like beat us with hangers, and I wouldn't tell my mom because I didn't think she gonna believe me anyways or even really care. Because at that time I just felt like no one cared. I felt like I was just like in hell going through all of these things by myself. So, anyways, one day I remember I was like in the living room. At this time, I think we were living in Flatbush. So yeah, I think we were living in Flatbush. So I was in the living room, and I don't know what I was doing, but I remember him telling me to come with him. So I went with him. We walked to my mom in his room, or whatever. Told me to sit on the bed. Sat down on the bed, and then he told me lay back. So I lay back, and then he starts pulling down my pants, and I'm just like, what the fuck, like this can't happen. This just can't be happening to me again. So pulls down my pants or whatever. Then he pulls down his pants. Then he proceeds to put his penis in me. And I remember he was like trying to put it in, and it's like it wouldn't go in. I guess because he was just too big and I was too small. And he was like, I remember him saying, damn, I don't want to force it, because I force it, I might like hurt you and rip you, and then you might go to the hospital, and that's the last thing I need. So I remember he stopped, and then when he pulled back, it was like at the tip of his penis was like this clear substance. Well, I know what it is now because I'm an adult, but back then I didn't know what it was. So I'm like, what is that clear stuff? Obviously it was pre-cum. So he freaked out. He's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I guess he must have thought like some of it went in me. So like his whole thing was, I can't force this girl to have sex with me. I can't physically force her or rip her thing open because that's evidence. And then I definitely cannot have, my pre-cum in her too, because that's evidence of what I'm doing. So he totally freaked out. He's like, come on, come on, come on, come on. So we ran. He runs me to the bathroom. He turns on the water. And he tells me to sit in there. He's like, soak in there for a couple of minutes. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just sitting there, whatever. And then he's like, this is between you and I. You can't tell anybody that this happened. We're getting in a lot of trouble. And like I said, as a kid, I was so scared and so shy and timid. And I really thought no one would give a fuck. So I believed him. So I said, okay. And I didn't tell anyone. And that's just how it was for many years. So after he tried to do that, he was nice to me all of a sudden. He wasn't like rude to me. He didn't beat me with hangers anymore. He didn't, tell me I couldn't watch TV, and he was just much nicer to me. So then, as time passed on, I was no longer, being raped by my cousin, and I was, no longer having to deal with my mom's first husband because they were no longer together. So all the rapes stopped, and I remember, at this point I was like 14 or 15, and I had my first boyfriend, and I remember him asking me, are you a virgin? Because he was a virgin, and I didn't know how to answer that question. I was like, how do I answer that question? So I got quiet. He was like, hello? Because we were on the phone at the time, and I'm like, yeah, I am a virgin. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, because I'm a virgin too. I'm like, yeah. And I remember I went to like my friend's mom, because her mom was like, really cool and stuff. And I basically told her what happened to me. And I was like, I don't know how to answer a question. I said, am I a virgin? And then she was like, she was on some like, fuck all of that, are you a virgin type stuff. Like, did you tell anyone that these things happened to you? And I'm like, no. And she's like, why not? These are things that people need to know. Like, did you tell your mom? And I'm like, no. She's like, you need to tell your mother. So I said, okay. And I remember I called my mom and I told her about it. You know, we talked about it for a little bit. You know, she asked me if I was okay, and she asked me, you know, why I never told her and stuff like that. So, anyways, fast forward, I get into a relationship when I was 20, and you know, my boyfriend at the time, you know, he was confided in me about something he went through. So I guess I felt comfortable, so I confided in him. So I started explaining the whole story with my aunt. So he's like, let me ask you a question. He was like, so your aunt asked you, did anyone touch you? And I said, yeah, she asked me, did anyone touch me? He's like, okay. And he was like, and you didn't tell your mom that you was raped by your cousin 2 years later? I said, yes. So he was like, so let me ask you a question. So you don't realize that means that your aunt never told your mom about that incident that happened? He was like, that makes no sense. He's like, think about it. And he used himself as an example. He said, if I seen my niece bleeding at 6 or 7 years old, I know she don't have a period, and I'm examining her and all that, and that's my sister's child, I'm gonna tell my sister, listen, I don't know what's going on, but your daughter, she was bleeding. I examined her. Her vagina did not look right to me. You need to do further investigation. And I sat there and I said, wow, he's absolutely right. So that means that my aunt more than likely knew her son was raping me, but didn't say anything because that was her son. Wow. That's a hard pill to swallow, to come to that realization that she more than likely knew but didn't say anything because that was her son. I don't really know how to think about that, to be honest with you. I mean, kind of take it out of my brain, kind of like not think about it or dwell on it, but it just, you know, leads me to my whole point of making this video. Don't trust people. Don't think because someone's your family member that they have your best interest at heart, because they don't. You know, and moms out there, you guys need to really ask your daughters, anybody touching you, you know, I don't care if they tell you that I'm going to beat you, that I'm not going to believe you, that they're going to hurt you. I don't care if they threaten you. You need to feel comfortable enough to tell me. If I don't make you feel comfortable to tell things to, then call the police and tell them. But you need to tell someone, because you can't trust anybody. You can't trust a soul. You need to be very careful, because people out here are all about themselves. But, you know, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to thank you guys for watching. I hope that this video was able to help somebody. If you have any questions or any concerns, you know, you can leave me a comment down below. Thank you.